Hey y'all, Andrew Finney here. Homebuyer cancellations soared in August with 64,000 buyers walking away from a deal. To put it another way, that's 15.2% of all homes under contract that fell apart. According to REDFIN, this is the highest level on record with the exception of March and April 2020 resulting from the pandemic. I wonder what happened to their earnest money deposit when they canceled. Did they lose their good faith deposit worth a minimum of several $1,000s? Now, that's a good question. Keep watching to the end to learn about the financial risk of canceling a deal that no one is talking about. For now, let's look at the metros with the most homebuyer dropouts. According to this post by Forbes, the Sun Belt states are seeing the most buyers fleeing the real estate heat. In their report, they cite a recent Redfin analysis. Redfin charts out the details for the top 50 metros with vanishing homebuyers. To save you time, we'll look at the top 10. If you want to check out all 50 metros, the link is in the description of this video. Redfin study found that the hardest hit metros are located in the Sun Belt, which surged in popularity among homebuyers during the pandemic. Back then, that's when we saw a lot of people moving for the purpose of working from home. Let's find out which 10 of those metros are now losing popularity as fast as they once gained esteem. Number 10, Houston, Texas, with 20.6% of homebuyers taking flight. To put it another way, that's just over 1 in 5 deals rocketing from Space City. Number 9, San Antonio, Texas, with 21.1% of buyers standing down. That's roughly just over 1 in 5 people saying no to the home of the Alamo. Number 8, Fort Worth, Texas, with 21.5% of buyers leaving Cowtown. Put another way, that's just over 1 in 5 deals put to pasture. Number 7, Tampa, Florida, with 21.7% of buyers backing away from deals, with just over 1 in 5 saying no to the Suncoast City. Number 6, Phoenix, Arizona, with 21.6% of buyers dropping their deals in the Grand Canyon State. To say it another way, that's just over 1 in 5 sales abandoned in the Sonoran Desert. Number 5, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with 21.7% of buyers no longer interested in the Venice of America. That's just over 1 in 5 deals left on the beach. Number 4, Orlando, Florida, with 21.9% of buyers saying no to the city of 100 lakes. That's just over 1 in 5 deals swimming away from O-Town. Number 3, Atlanta, Georgia, with 22.6% of buyers leaving the big peach in the basket. Put another way, that's just over 1 in 5 deals left out to dry. Number 2, Las Vegas, Nevada, where I live, work, and play, has 23% of buyers saying no to the city of second chances. That's just under 1 in 4 buyers leaving the city of light. And number 1, Jacksonville, Florida, with 26.1% of buyers paddling away from the River City. That's just over 1 in 4 buyers saying it's not easier here. It's mind-boggling just how fast the tides can turn in real estate. According to Redfin, these areas initially attracted house hunters because they were relatively affordable, but an influx of demand caused prices to skyrocket, rendering them less attractive to homebuyers. Now they are witnessing an exodus of would-be homebuyers. This raises an interesting counterpoint. In the wake of declining homebuying competition, is it creating an opportunity for ready homebuyers? Think about it. If someone is selling their house, they have a reason why. They want to go elsewhere. Otherwise, why are they selling their house? Whether across town or to a new area, they're ready to move on with their life. Only one problem. They need someone to buy their home first. Maybe that's you, and perhaps the seller's a bit more negotiable than before mortgage rates jolted the real estate market. So if you're planning on making a move, perhaps it's something to consider, but of course, that also goes for new home construction. Builders are offering incentives to qualified homebuyers again. But first, we should discuss the financial risk of when deals go wrong. Look, to give you a heads up, this video is changing gears from information to education. So if you came here for the trending information about homebuyer cancellations, that's cool, you just got it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. But if you're ready for an education that will help you minimize your financial risk when a deal drops, grab your notes and let's go. This is about to get real. Catchy headlines are all fun and games until someone gets hurt and it's your money at risk. So when I read this post by CNBC, I was happy to see they mentioned it's important to know the financial repercussions in the title. Here's the deal. A real estate contract is legally binding with specific terms, conditions, contingencies, and timelines agreed upon between buyers and sellers. Because most realtors are not attorneys, you have the right for an attorney of your choosing to review the documents at your discretion and at your own cost. If a deal falls apart, provisions are made to protect both the buyer and the seller. That's one of many reasons it's so important to research the realtor you work with before signing an agreement. If you want some help finding the right agent for you, contact my friends at homeandmoney.com/Andrew. Thank you. Let's be honest, buyer cancellations are nothing new in real estate, but they can make for some clicky titles, or at least one hopes so. So after publishing this video, we'll see how well that worked out for me. To be clear, buyer cancellations happen in any real estate market condition. They occur for many reasons with varying degrees of financial loss or not. Whether a buyer gets to keep their money after a deal falls apart, that's a different story. And that's what we're going to look at right now, beginning with why people cancel contracts. Realtor Magazine recently published an article with a survey of home sellers about why their deals fell apart. Most notably, the leading reasons deals were canceled are as follows. 42% canceled due to mortgage application denial. 41% lost their sale because the seller backed out. Yes, that can happen too. 38% of deals stopped because the home inspection. 35% because of appraisal issues. 31% because mortgage rates are too high. 29% for breach of contract. 23% because the buyer feared an upcoming recession. The list goes on, so I'll link it in the description if you want to check it out later. So what happens to the buyer's earnest money deposit when the deal dies? Are they going to get their money back? In short, it depends. Sometimes, but not always. From experience, when a deal goes south, there are 4 questions we need to ask first. The first question, what real estate contingencies were in their contract and for what period of time? The second question, is the buyer's cancellation within a specific contingency period? The third, why did the buyer cancel the deal? Is it a reason protected by the contingency or other terms of the contract? And number 4, is the buyer within any contingency period that they will get their earnest money deposit back or not? Those are 4 questions I seek to answer when a deal breaks, whether I'm the buyer's agent or the listing agent in the transaction. In real estate practice, I know all of the terms, contingencies, and timelines for each deal I have the privilege to work on, no matter who I'm representing. Now, think of those 64,000 homebuyers that backed out of deals. Based on the law of averages, a certain amount of them are likely to have lost their earnest money deposit. Keep in mind, that doesn't include the money they spent for their home inspection or their appraisal. You might have noticed in the 4 questions we just reviewed, there are 2 recurring words. 1 is earnest money deposit, or EMD for short, and 2, the word contingency. A contingency will help you minimize the risk of losing your earnest money deposit. So let's talk about what an EMD and contingency are in real estate and how it affects you. An earnest money deposit is essentially a deposit a buyer makes on a home they want to purchase. It is sometimes called a good faith deposit. The amount usually ranges from 1% to 3% of the home's sale price. However, sometimes it could be more depending on the price of the house and how many interested buyers are in the market for a specific property. The EMD normally needs to be wired to the escrow account within 2 business days of an accepted offer. Afterward, the seller will usually not permit further showings as they work in good faith toward closing with the buyer. So when you see homes online that are under contract, pending, or contingent, those terms indicate the seller has accepted an offer. If the buyer does not close on the property for purposes other than the contingencies in their purchase agreement, they risk losing their EMD. In such a case, the earnest money deposit is considered liquidated damages due to the seller. The logic is that the seller did not permit any showings on the property while they were in contract with a prospective buyer. Thus, they lost the opportunity to sell to a different buyer that may have closed as agreed upon. If a deal is canceled, how the EMD is handled and who gets it will depend on why the deal fell apart. The real estate laws governing purchase cancellations do vary by state. For more information, talk with your realtor to better understand how this works in your state. Next, let's go over 6 common real estate contingencies in the United States. For reference, a real estate contingency is an event or condition that must occur before the deal can close. Common home buying contingencies include the following: buyer due diligence period, home inspection, appraisal, financing, title contingency, and a contingent upon sale of another property if the situation applies. Now, I won't get into the nitty and gritty here to keep this video short, but if you want to learn more about any of these topics, I have hundreds of videos on my channel addressing them. So should you buy or sell a house in a shifting housing market and an uncertain economy? Click here to find the questions to think through before making your move. I look forward to seeing you in that video. If not, I'm sending you positive vibes. Everything goes your way. Until I see you again. Oh, are you still here? Well, that's weird. Just click here and we'll catch up there. Thank you for watching.